Hi, it's Chris with Implied Music, and I'm shaking off my holiday doldrums and getting back into it and practicing a little bit at the piano. And today I'm here with the great American songbook classic. It's a real chestnut, My Romance. And it's a terrific song for study, for acquiring musical theory knowledge, and mostly about this one particular trick, which the song uses. And we'll get into it in detail, but I'll just tell you what it is. The melody, only major scale notes, but the chords, as they progress through the tune, create three or four different key levels. Like it almost feels like you're stopping off in different places. It tells the story of the lyrics. It creates a real narrative line. Listen, let's just get into it. Well, first of all, if you're a DAW musician, and I have to say to some degree I am as well, you might be put off by just an old guy sitting in front of a piano trying to tell you something about music. I'm not going to shoot from above. I play this song different every time I play it. I'm playing off the Berklee Real Book chart, but I've been playing this song for a long time, so a lot of things change, but the Berklee Real Book changes, which are very available to almost everybody, and you can find a chart for it anywhere online if you want to just go along with me, give us an insight into the thinking, the harmonic language of the song in a really interesting way. I've said this before, you can learn a lot about conventional practice European harmony by looking at the Great American Songbook canon, because those songs are rooted in traditional tonic dominant relationships, and those melodies are just often just beautiful. Well, listen, I've talked enough, but I do want to say if this is the second or third time you visited here, subscribe now. If you're not a subscriber, we're doing useful stuff here. Hey, listen to this song, My Romance by Rodgers and Hart. Richard Rodgers, the great composer. The melody is just in B flat. So here's the sound of B flat, and here's the scale. Now the melody really just begins on the third and goes up to 5. I'm in B flat, and that's a 1 chord. And then up to 2, we're just going to continue on up the chords, up to 3, and a 2, 5, 1. So the first harmonic sequence, the first 4 measures, very straightforward and kind of like almost like a chorale, isn't it? But now we're going to head down to the relative minor, to G. And to get to G minor, we play a secondary dominant. D7 is the 5 of G minor, and so that's the next chord. And now we're in G minor. And the melody has done the same thing in relative minor that it did in major. In major, it went 3, 4, 5, and we're going to do the same thing in G minor. 3, 4, 5. G7 takes us to C minor 7. You guessed it. F7 to B flat. Now you probably noticed how symmetrical that melody is. It's fantastic, isn't it? Well, listen, let's go on, because now we're entering sort of the middle section of the tune. And the middle section of the tune is not in B flat. It's not in G minor. It kind of travels up to the 4 chord. And it travels up to the 4 chord in the way that like a Beatles middle 8 does too. So the 1 chord, B flat, becomes B flat 7. Of course, B flat 7 is the 5 of E flat. More E flats. This is the 4 of E flat, A flat. So after those 4 measures, we've got to head home, but how are we going to get there? We're going to get there in a just beautiful way. A circle right around the circle of fifths. We're going to start on E minor 7 flat 5, which is the 5 of A, which is the 5 of D, which is the 5 of G, although we get a tritone substitution for it, which is the 5 of C, which is the 5 of F7. That beautiful circle of fifths. With appropriate sort of chord qualities. Minor 7 flat 5. Dominant flat 9. Minor 7. Tritone substitution. Oh, this beautiful sus chord here. To dominant. 2 5. C minor 7, F7, in other words, back to B flat. So that whole thing happens again. We're going to have a second ending, and we'll get to it in a moment. So now we go back to the top. We have a repeat. Here's that gorgeous relative minor. And now here's the second ending. Instead of just resolving to B flat, we're going to resolve to something which feels like we're heading forward onto the 4 chord. What we resolve to is F minor 7. Really want to go forward there, don't we? This is a dominant chord, B flat 7, the secondary dominant, taking us to E flat. And there's that little phrase. Right around the circle of fifths, we're going to go A, D, G, G flat 7, which is a tritone substitution, of course, for C7. And here's my melody. 1, 2, 3 in this case, instead of 3, 4, 5. And I have a pedal tone in the bass. The 5th F in the bass is a pedal tone. Richard Rodgers has carefully and cleverly created 3 really important new key levels and used a progression around the circle of fifths to drive us back home again. Once we've kind of touched on these places, it's like the Odyssey in harmony, while the melody has no altered tones at all. It's all just notes from the B flat major scale. And not a hard song to sing either. It only, its compass is only an octave. Let's do the whole thing. Okay, here we go to the relative minor. 2, 5. Back to B flat, and now B flat 7 takes us to E flat. Back to the top. Here's a beautiful 2, 5 taking me home. I'm at E flat. Right around the circle, A, D, G. Tritone substitution. Pedal tone F. Get a copy of the real book. Get a copy of it in PDF or something. If you can read a little bit, great. If you can read not at all, just puzzle it out. These kinds of things unfold with inspection, and please don't expect it to happen right away. Listen, I love this song. I love My Romance, and it's a good study song. But all of these American songbook chestnuts draw their their language, their musical syntax, so to speak, from European classical traditions, and as such make a great study for musicians of sort of all stripes, because we really are kind of like coming from a deep place of history most of the time when we sit down at any kind of instrument that's like this, a guitar, bass, keyboard. And because of that, take it from an old guy with white hair sitting at an instrument is not a bad way to learn your theory. Well, I hope this has been useful. Like and subscribe, ding the bell. You'll be notified when I do my videos, and I will see you next time.